We are now recording.
John Detroit.
So 172 is not really what I want. I'm wanting more of a...
Right, in an ideal world, you'd get a 090 and head out towards the airport.
Right.
We're up to 8,000. Now, we were going 230, 240. Excuse me. But now it's starting to turn around.
Just keep climbing.
Yeah, I think so. You got a nice steady pace. John, this is Travis and Dave. What you got, man? I thought he was going close.
Guys on 2 Juliet Golf, when able to turn right heading 060. 060, 2 Juliet Golf.
One of your questions on the pre-solo test is my fuel. What am I till I'm empty? You know, one of the questions like my procedures
to
run out.
Strategies?
You're just wanting to know what I'm doing now, so I'm going to go to here, and then go to here, and then go to here, and then go to here.
Okay.
Is that what you're wanting to know?
Yeah, and in this particular situation, since we have a manifold, we're not really switching hoses.
Right.
And so it's easy to just turn valves on and off. If you didn't have the manifold, then you'd be switching hoses, where that strategy becomes much more important, because the thing that we want to avoid, there is I'll call it a mythology out there, and it's mostly gone, but there are still folks who subscribe to it where, well, I'm going to leave 10% in that tank in case I need to come back to it. It's totally useless, and in my opinion, it's unsafe.
Well, I mean, your flame's not what you're wanting probably with that small amount of fuel in there.
That's true, but then, well, but if it's not the flame you want, then you should switch to a full tank, right?
Right.
Maybe, but here's the thinking that if you leave 10%, it's nice. If you leave 10% in that tank, or 15, or whatever the number is, then in your mind you think I have fuel there. And in reality, you don't.
Right.
Because what happens is, let's say you leave 10% in this, and then you switch over to this tank, and you fly that one empty. First of all, the thing to consider is now when that one is empty,
Detroit, you got a copy?
what is going on in your flight? Where are you in the sequence? And the answer is you're probably looking for a landing.
All right, I'm easing up. I don't have a visual on either one of you.
And so you're already busy, and you don't want to mess around
now.
with
I don't see you yet. I'm trying to look around here. Hang on. I got a 114 at 8 at 9,000.
And so you're already busy. You don't want to mess around.
060.
The other thing is, if you did switch back to that tank, what you left as 10% and was a good burn is gone, because all that fuel is vapor. So in the time that it's just sat there, you've lost vapor pressure.
You're to the southwest of me, John. You're
and
fine.
it's not going to be as good as it was when you
So you
left.
might as well just use it all.
So you should use it all the way empty, and then just know that, hey, that tank's gone.
It seems like my burns are having to be longer
At
than last time I
altitude,
flew.
well, at altitude they will be, because I mean we jumped up here pretty quick. We're at 83, 100.
So also in the manual it said that you can open up all of them.
You
like
can.
if you're on the manifold, and you just kind of get every little bit out.
You can. The thing to be aware of is if you do that, the tanks will all go down. The pair of tanks will go down at the same rate, because they'll actually cross-fill each other based on pressure.
And they stay leveled out with each other. So that's the track I had when I was down there, huh?
Right. And it feels nervous, right?
Right. It looks...
Franklin Tower, 052 Echo Whiskey, holding short Alpha 7, 35 left.
You see where the big grass hill is out here? I think that's the old landfill. It's going to be the new neighborhood or whatever. I landed there once. This brown building here is actually at least they used to have, on the the east of that hill was a big horse ranch. I don't know if they still have horses there, but it sure is a pretty place to fly.
It really is. And I don't have a whole lot to compare it to Yeah, anyway.
And you can see, that's actually kind of cool. On this side of the power plant, you can see the new Switchback Stadium.
Oh, that's what that is?
And you can see just north of that is the Olympic Museum, the big silver roof.
Yeah.
And then the green spot over there is the America the Beautiful Park. Okay, so I think you want to keep climbing a little bit, probably up to 9,000 or so.
Okay.
Because we've now got this turn here, which is really attractive, right? A good rule of thumb is I-25 is the boundary of Fort Carson.
Right.
So if you're this side of I-25, you don't have to deal with the base. There are some red areas down this corner.
Turn right heading 050.
And if we head that direction, I'll sort of point them out because you can see them visually.
Where's Academy at?
Academy is this long road right here. The big shiny roof is on Academy. I think that's a wall. I just felt something. So we're almost calm, but I bet we're going to start turning.
Contact departure, see it? Order departure, thanks for the help. See ya.
Hazy still.
It is, and this is much better than we've had lately. Most of that smoke is clear.
So I'm down to 15% on that tank. That's what that's saying?
Yep.
So I should be starting to notice some differences in my flame.
Probably soon. These tanks will go down to about 5% with meaningful pressure, and then you'll really notice them drop off quickly.
Tower Bonanza 3.
Okay, notice now that you've picked up 100 degrees at 4 knots, and 100 degrees takes you right over the center of the
Take
Earth.
off.
All right, that's kind of what we were after.
Yep.
And so I could level out and just kind of stay at this, huh?
I think so.
Try to chase not a lot of speed up here, but we are kind of headed out towards the hotel direction. You might kind of start making your way out more east. Try chase, copies. Hey guys, I'm finally starting to pick it up right at the base of the 10,000 here. I've got a 113 to 11.
Nice.
Copy that, Troy.
Thanks, Troy. We're at about 89. We've got 090 at 4. I think we'll keep climbing. For a lot of years, both when I lived here and before that. And I remember this whole area with all these houses was wide open. And I remember it was one of the big targets we had on a day, because you'd go there and I mean you could put 50 balloons in there. And
Not anymore. I'm afraid that's what's about to happen to all our other spots now.
it is definitely what's going to happen out there. They're already sharing plans, and
And the 2 for hotel, turn right heading 060.
Skip has been doing some reconnaissance on landowners, and yeah, he's finding some good friendly greetings, but they're all talking, oh yeah, maybe next year, year after, we're going to be building there. And
So I want to keep climbing to about 10.
Yeah, I think so.
He's in our shadow. Or is that? Yeah, maybe.
I think he's just in the shadow of the cloud. You can see sort of the big streak of shadow over on the.
Yeah, 24 hotel contact party.
Now we got 8 knots. So remember to look back at your launch site and get some bearings. You see the field where we launched.
Yep.
You see the lake, and we're now drifting to the east. We've gained what, maybe a mile to the south.
Yeah.
And now we're headed to
What was that beep just now?
the east. Probably temperature. Yeah, our temperature is about 240. So my guess is it got to 250 right when you burned.
And that's fine as long as it's short periods of time.
Yeah, the rule of thumb is you can do 250 continuously, but not lower. My belief is the hotter you run the balloon, the shorter its lifespan.
Right. Yeah, I mean, that makes logical sense. Yeah.
That says it's about empty, and you'll hear it in the burner. So typically what I do at this point, just because it's nice and comforting, is I'll check the other burner.
Yeah, that's what I just did.
I noticed that, and then you know, okay, yep, that side's still good, and you can run it all the way down, but you'll start to hear the change in the burner here pretty quick, I think. And it'll cool off fast at this altitude.
Getting hazier, doesn't it?
It does, yeah. And I think I was reading a weather.
Higher up?
Well, I think we're higher up, so we're sort of in that natural haze a little bit, and the ground's just further away, so it looks blurrier. But I do actually think we're expecting sort of another round of smoke and haze to roll in today. Okay, so tell me a little bit about sort of the idea. We've got 11 knots, we're going that direction. How would you plan to finish the flight? What's your strategy here?
Well, I think, okay, at 11, 12 knots, we have enough speed that we can get past the airport, right?
Okay.
I mean, is that accurate or no?
Well, yeah, eventually. I don't know how long it would take, but you do, yeah.
Because I don't know if I should be looking for a landing spot over there or right here.
Okay.
I mean, like, that looks inviting, but am I too high up to be hitting anything that close? That field next to the
football field?
Yeah.
No, that's very achievable because we're only moving 11 knots.
And it's slower.
And it's slow as we go down, right?
So should I just keep getting everything I can out of there? Or?
Once you hear that pitch change, and the biggest thing to notice is once you hear it shut off that fast, then you know you're not getting any real fuel.
You said you're at the west? Flex Tower, Cessna 2696 Charlie is inbound for stop and go, station 35 right. 735 right, clear stop and go, 12107.
And any of those could be landing spots.
They could very well be. Something that's hard to see from here, but is important to know, is that along Academy, there's a very big set of power lines.
Okay, that's Academy right there. So I'm almost time to need to call.
Almost, yep.
I mean, all of that looks pretty promising.
It does. Yeah, that's like, can you see our hotel launch?
Oh, that's it, huh?
Yeah.
Okay.
One of the three out to the west of you, just crossing Academy now at 10,000 feet, heading east. 550, contact departure. Yeah, somebody stepped on you. We're switching the departure The hot air is crossing Academy Boulevard, say again. Sorry about that. Hot air balloon 390 Romeo, crossing Academy right now at 10,000 feet. One of the three balloons out here, headed east. Hot air 0 Romeo, Roger. Altimeter 0, crash altimeter 30. Wind 0107. 390 Romeo, Roger.
Now, if I wanted to land at the hotel, I would want to stay kind of high because I got this direction and then drop down pretty quick.
Yeah, I don't anticipate a lot of those mid layers to be there. But we did see as we came up, we had that 240. And so if we were to drop down, let's say now, we would probably expect to drift back to the west of the
So I'd want to pass it a little bit.
Ideally, yeah. And the airport just reported 01087. So that's going just slightly.
After your stop, go for stay out of the way of the hot air balloon. We can stay in right for traffic. I think we'll be good with them here.
So I'll go ahead and call?
I would, because you're right on Academy. The benefit of waiting until you're sort of right at Academy is it gives them a real solid understanding of where you are.
Okay. So I'm just going to call them and tell them I'm passing Academy at 9,400 feet.
Perfect.
Colorado Springs Tower, hot air balloon, November 74008.
Hot air balloon 74008, trailing south. Colorado Springs on 43023, 10107.
I am passing Academy at 9,400 feet, heading east.
Hot air balloon 7488, roger.
Just like that, huh?
Yep. Now the only thing I'd add to that is when you called back to identify yourself again.
Okay, say 008.
Right.
Okay.
Because
It could have been anybody.
he did respond to you, so you knew that you had good contact. But you're right. Then we heard another airplane call. So then when you call back, you need to identify yourself.
Okay.
But I mean, obviously you knew who you were. Yeah, it's great speed up here, isn't it? Yeah, I'm glad we did that.
And we got us away from all that over there. And so from up here, I can't really pinpoint a spot I would want. So the best course would be just kind of get past that way before I came down. So if I did drift back, and if I did drift back, I can go back up too. And
You could, yeah. The problem is it's a really long way.
oh yeah, to get back up to this.
547 November Delta is entering the left downwind 72. 35 left. Cessna 547 November Delta.
I mean, that field right there on the other side of Powers. Are we allowed in there?
Yep.
Because that looks really nice.
35 left, cleared to land, got the hot air balloon inside 547 November.
So in these kinds of situations, it's really tricky to figure out when do you start your descent? How fast do you go? That kind of thing. Partially it's difficult because this high you start to just lose perspective on things. As well as there's a lot of space between us. I mean, we're 3,500 feet above the ground.
Right.
And so it's hard to know what's between us, right? What turns and shifts are we going to get along the way? So at an event, when you got a lot of balloons, you got a lot of indicators, you know.
Right.
Oh, he's going this way, he's going that way, and you can watch all of that. And you can kind of build that 3D map in your head.
Charlie 96, Charlie, keep turn 15 degrees right to depart, come 37 behind you, and then make right left. Okay, copy that. Coming right, 96, Charlie. Southwest 11.
So when should I like start getting down lower and just seeing what the different ones are doing?
Alright, everything goes right, Southwest 1180.
Okay, just turn towards the northwest. Now, the tricky part here is, it looked like the spit went that way, right?
Right.
Okay, did it really go that way, or did it just go less this way?
Right.
Don't know. But that does tell us
Because we're traveling that way too, so
exactly.
the spit would be...
So maybe that's just a calm layer, and then we're overtaking.
Right.
So, from my perspective, it's relatively calm out here today. We know that as Colorado Springs warms up, we're going to get that wind shift on the ground. I would probably suggest that we come down before the airport rather than trying to go over.
Okay.
Because we don't want to be over the airport if it goes real far.
Okay, and so just kind of start to come down, and then if we drift anywhere, we'll just stay up high enough and just figure it out.
Yeah, and you know, so you choose what you think is best. What I would do is I would probably get to ours and then start dropping. And I would drop, I would say consistently, maybe 400 feet a minute. We don't have to race to the ground. And then we can get a feel and sort of get a left-right turn. And my anticipation is that we'll end up going that direction, which of course we see a lot of opportunities there. One thing I would suggest though is once we get to there, before we start the descent, call the airport and let them know you're going to descend.
Okay, so... How would I say that? You know, I call them and then just tell them I'm over powers and I'm going to do a descent?
Yeah, just that you're going to start a descent all the way to the ground.
I just started falling.
Focusing on your landing already, right?
Yeah.
Most likely, Troy's probably going to go across the airport.
He is a little bigger than us. Would need more room to land.
Yeah, and he's flying really light, so it's going to come through. So from a ride perspective, you've always got that mentality of I've got to get my hour here. Which, I mean, probably would anyway, but... So yeah, the idea there is they could potentially be right now bringing planes in underneath us, and we can't see them. I haven't heard of anybody doing that, but if you tell them you're initiating a descent, then anybody even on that path is at least clued into what's going on.
And so I just literally just say I'm over powers and I'm going to initiate a descent. And I'll call the tower and then wait for them to reply, and then I say 008. I'm over powers, going to initiate descent. Okay. I'd probably go ahead and do that now, or wait until I'm closer to priors.
And Tower 19, Charlie, that's 100 over 4 trains for the pattern looking for... Yeah, it looks like they're landing out here.
Well, we got right over the lost ring. That counts, right?
Yeah, 615 contact mark.
Okay, so what I do is get a little bit of extra heat in the balloon, and then you can call the airport.
Okay. Colorado Springs Towers, hot air balloon, November 74008.
Hot air balloon 74008. Ready, start.
008. I am over powers and I'm going to initiate a descent.
Hot air balloon 74008. Roger. Which hot air balloon are you?
Orange. The orange one.
Hot air balloon 008. Roger. And fast track 25.
Now you can just let it cool naturally till we've got about a 400 foot a minute descent, and then hold that rate, which, as we've talked about before, can be tricky.
Right.
But that's the short puffs and that kind of a thing. Because I anticipate that once that this will get us almost to that side road, and then in theory, with that 010 on the ground, we should gradually start to turn and end up sort of out in here.
Air 7 November Delta.
Going nice and slow.
Where you park?
Be my guess. Now I do see some breeze on the lake. The water's real low, so it's hard to tell what's going
Air
on.
7 November Delta, how many
But we could end up going
One or,
south 6 or 8
Just
knots
one
maybe.
departing back to Metro. 7 November Delta, Roger. Trim up next taxiway, contact ground point 7. And left on Alpha 4, contact ground. And hot air 008. Traffic of beam, just north of your position there. Beam to departure and 35 left. Skyhawk, the heavy in sight. Pass now.
008 copy, thank you. Did you get that?
There's somebody coming? Is that what he said?
On 35 left. Okay. And so what he's saying is that inbound traffic on 35 left, they've got it. They see us. So what that means to me is they see us, great. We don't have to worry. And also, if we find ourselves going as far over as the runway, we need to stay high so that they can get under us. I don't anticipate being that far because we're already losing a lot of speed, right? We went from 12 to 4 knots,
Right.
And so I anticipate a turn. We'll see if we get. So here is his downwind, right? So that's the value of calling, because then he knows, okay, we're doing something. Everyone should pay attention. Because you don't want to catch an airplane that's maybe doing their pre-landing procedure and he's looking at his manual and he's tucking everything away, and maybe not looking out the window, and then all of a sudden you're right in front of him and he didn't anticipate it. To go, right?
Yep.
But we've bled off a lot of that speed. We're starting to get the right turn. And by the way, my approach to you, my suggestion would be that you plan to take this all the way to the ground, and obviously you flare it out to your comfort level, but don't settle in too high, because in my mind, we're in landing mode now.
Right, so once I get down there and I find something, I'll need to be close enough that I can hit it.
Because you never know. If we get a left turn, you might want to hit one of these close fields. If we get a right turn, just be ready. Obviously, we have a lot of fuel. We can fly a long time.
Colorado Springs. 9,000. But radar controller, no. But good. 917 Romeo, top it in.
Got our turn. Nice.
And hot air 7 Romeo. You guys the first one phone east or one? 917 so far, this is to the west. I am now runway 17. Right above us somewhere. Alright, hot air 7 Romeo, Roger. Are you guys over on the west side of the airport? Or are you guys pull up? Roger, we're going to cross the airport to the west, to the east side, and then we'll descend on the east side of the airport. Air 7 Romeo, Roger. And Hot Air 0, Romeo is at the same time.
Landing right there, huh?
390 Romeo, roger that. I'm in the middle of the airport currently. Once I cross 35 right, I'm going to be dropping down on the east side. Advise me when you start your descent. I'm losing traffic out here, boy. 390. Charlie, runway 35 right, 10105, clear to land. Pressure, clear, stop, go.
Okay, so you're starting to feel the wind shears a little bit. We're 7 knots, 210. So 210 puts us out in this direction. Right? In a short distance, we've got this stuff, which is probably too close for us at this rate, right? But this field here with the drainage ditch through it, that'd be okay. On the other side of Powers, that option is good. Yeah. And then we kind of get into the neighborhood, and then our next option is quite a ways down there. So that's the advantage of continuing this descent, to get all the way into the ground and figure out what you've got.
Should I start slowing it down slower than 4?
Eventually, certainly. But frankly, I see a lot of attractiveness to this area.
Yeah, I do too.
But you can't really feel comfortable lining up on that until you know what the ground wind's going to do. And so I would continue to have a steady descent. You know, we're a little slower now, 300. And remember, your burns are going to be more effective.
Right. I'm already noticing it.
What's that tell you?
About to change directions?
Yeah, probably going to slow down. And if we get a left turn, we want to keep this descent because we probably want to get out of, and try our best to avoid crossing into the airport.
Right, that makes sense. Yeah.
I feel like we might be getting a little bit of a lift. Nice steady descent's the right thing to do. Keep on that.
Do I think it's the right thing to do? Yeah.
And then I see this sort of grass field between us and the parking lot. Yeah. I think that's available to us, but I see a fence, so I don't really know actually.
The hot air goes on the left side, 35 left.
See how we're naturally calming. Yeah. We're slowing our descent. That's that temperature inversion. Coming down into cooler air.
You want to stay right close to the plane level. Evenly. 7802, roger.
As I look for hazards, I see a radio antenna right there. And then I see just kind of regular light poles and stuff.
7802, landing.
And then of course, the big light poles at the sports fields there.
I'm liking all of this.
Me too. And
So just slow down to about 200 feet per minute or what? Or am I good to just stay at about...
I think at this point you want to be on your track to the ground and use your own. Now the instruments aren't going to help. Okay. Use your gut to get you to that landing. And you know that this stuff is pretty So thinking about options, a hard left turn gets us in there. That's okay. That's okay. That field might be okay, but it's got a right. That one's okay. The gravel's okay. So we've got a lot of options as long as you keep getting down. Now see, that was a little overburnt, I would think. Okay.
I feel like
cooler air. Down into cooler air slows you down.
Clear to land and straight in runway 31.
I am.
On the way down there, any
straight down. We're heading south right now. Watching the direction that you're going.
Hot air balloon 390 Romeo Romeo. We are now outside of the airport. Roger. I got no traffic here in the city now. Thank you very much.
Okay. You want to go ahead and fly right into that field? What do you think?
Do I need to keep burning?
Yep. You know how to do this.
Okay.
You know how to do this. Okay, a little bit.
Ground 0.7 after Bravo 4. Very well. That's the 7 November Delta, runway 35 left, 1 clear for takeoff. 35 left, clear for takeoff. 547 Delta.
And miss this field.
That's 802, firefighter out.
Because you'll get it accelerated. Close eye on that radio tower. We are getting a little bit of that left push. We're already at the top of your arm. So very good.
Spring Tower, fast track 11, holding short, 35 left, Alpha 7, ready for kickoff.
You feeling okay?
Fast track 11, Spring Tower, Roger.
Okay, now a little burn just to keep nice. Because you want to make sure that you now got real close eyes on the tower and pin in there.
Yeah. A little puff. Would that overburn?
Fast track 11, please short plate.
Again?
Make sure you stay above that tower. You're all right. So we're next to it now.
Okay. So now I need to get rid of that overburn.
I would. Question I have is, can you get it between those two fences? Maybe. Or do you feel like we should play the long game and go back up and go up?
Oh, I don't think I can make that.
Okay. Yeah, we're kind of tugging it right into that corner, aren't we? So,
Yeah.
okay. Then I would suggest up about 200 feet. Because we're finding this due west, we're going to be in that runway path.
Okay.
And our bottom line is probably going to be in it anyway. But let's get up and see if we can pick up that. Get down to sort of Milton Proby type of.
Fast track 11, runway 35 left, 1 call,
Sweat a
clear
little.
for takeoff.
35 left, clear for kickoff, fast track 11.
Now, from a safety standpoint, you could totally just clear the fence and land right in there.
Right.
Be totally fine. That is inside the ops area of the airport, and that's on the air side, so the secure side. So then Scott would have a hard time getting to it.
Right. And so now, do I need to call them again? They can obviously see me.
You know, another option, Travis, is just occurring to me.
Right over here.
Yeah, what about in this sort of the outside of the fence, but in that sort of gravel area? That looks like it's accessible. And just kind of go for that road and
So I can level out here, just stay at this track, and then when I maybe get past closer to the fence, start trying to drop down, or should I wait till after the fence?
actually, I think lower might be faster.
Okay.
What do you think?
Lower might be faster, you think?
That's what I'm thinking, and we get out of that flight path. Springs Tower, Hot Air 74008, making a cross on 3.
Hot Air 008.
74008, that's affirmative. Feel that breeze, feel how strong it is. So I think a low approach gets us out of their way. I'm also a little bit more comfortable doing this because they got both runways open, so they can switch if they need to, and they had 3 planes stacked up to take off.
I'll be going that way, so nobody's going to be landing just yet this way, right?
And so now your obstacles, you got landing lights here,
Yep.
and then the fence, and that's it. And then watch that white car,
Yep.
so you can see where he is, and you can see where that road is.
Fast track 11. 11 o'clock, 3 miles, and then sky hot.
Yeah, this is nice.
Negative contact, searching Central.
Hey Scott, it's Dave. We're going to be on the service road into the airport. If you just come north of Milton Proby, we should be on the
Thank you.
I think it is so cool that the airport treats us so good.
Oh yeah, we're very lucky, especially after hearing some of the other issues the other
Oh,
places
yeah.
are having. I want to be on the other side of that fence now.
Yep. Because right now we're an aircraft.
Right.
When we land, we're trespassing. And then it becomes, now we're unsecured humans, you know, and that's...
Be a little overburned.
yeah, a little bit, but it's okay.
We can bleed it out a little if we want.
We'll follow that traffic. Fast track 11, contact departure.
Go ahead and burn it a little.
Sorry, we want to switch.
Direction is being perfect, thank you. 7 Echo Romeo, 7 Echo Romeo, contact departure.
Hey Troy, it's Dave. We have 090.
Did you say you had a 090 over there, Dave?
That's correct. We're driving into the sun.
Fast track 25, contact departure. Contact departure, fast track 25.
Little puff. So I'm gonna be on the other side of that gravel.
Okay, you're going to go between the gravel and the road?
Yep.
Okay, sounds great.
So I get landing position.
Okay, I'm ready whenever you are. You just let me know.
Wow.
This is tough because you can't see the road,
Right.
right? But you can see the car.
Yep.
And there's no fence. If you wanted to cross the road, that would also be fine. So once you get an eyeball on it, you can choose.
Yep, I'm gonna go right on the other side of the road.
Scott, this is Dave. We're going to land here.
I want to burn, but I shouldn't, right?
You fly the balloon.
Okay.
Another one. Springs Tower, hot air 74008, outside the ops area.
Number 7504, Echo calling COS Tower. Alright, 2 1.
Okay, I see a couple of fence posts there.
Yes.
No fence along the road.
Traffic
Traffic is minimal. I'd say we put it right on the pavement slash in the short grass.
This is Echo 7504 Echo. I'm Union tracking south-southeast in your area. Spring 3600 Romeo.
Burn.
Cherokee
And now
3600 Romeo to Indian.
Whatever you got.
5 left, 3 for takeoff. 310
Keep it open. Nice. Nice. That's perfect. Okay, now go ahead and let that up. Gently. Okay. What do you think, huh?
Man, if I miss a landing, don't panic. Just work the next one.
Yeah.
'Cause I've really felt a little panicky there for a second.
Oh, on that open field there?
Yeah.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Okay, what do you think?
I need to do that more consecutively.
Yeah. Yeah, it's been a long time.
Did I do better or worse than you were expecting after having a break like that?
About same, but you know, a little rusty at the start, but no problem holding altitude, no problem holding ascents and descents. I thought it's good. Okay, so what do you want to do?
Wait for Scott. It's pretty calm. We can just probably sit here and stood up until he gets here, huh?
Okay.
Is that what you're thinking, or are you thinking flying more?
No, I think we should be done,
Okay.
especially because the next flight is sort of that direction. We're going to be in the air traffic. It's getting warm.
What about
We've been in the air. We've been hot just at an hour now.
what about getting to some shorter grass?
You think we can walk it back?
I don't know. Might be too windy, huh?
Yeah, it's right on the edge, isn't it?
But this doesn't look like a lot of cactus. I've been in worse.
Me too.
Turn right, heading 3600 Romeo.
Should I keep standing it up, or should I go ahead and lay it down?
060 Romeo.
I mean, I feel like keeping it up helps him see us better,
Okay.
but you know, I don't know. What do you think?
You're the pilot. I'm just along for the ride.
I know that chasing it helps being able to see the balloon.
It does, yeah.
Is this about 4 or 5 knot wind right now?
Yeah, it feels faster than that. As we were going over the gravel pit, we were at 6.
If you're just catching up to the balloons right there, you're in a good spot. And turn, and come back into the field.
I didn't realize that they had put the black gravel all the way up to the road there. I thought that was more flat.
Passing 7150 Romeo. 00 Romeo, Roger. And it looks like I have to like that. Contact departure 00 Romeo. Thank you, have a good day.
Probably should just lay it down, huh? As a safety thing? I mean, could it be potentially dangerous just sitting here?
Potentially, you have to be cautious of a wind gust, and what are you going to do in that moment, you know? Because in that scenario, we know we've got a lot of grass, and we got a gust, and it felt like it was kind of getting out of control. We just let that. So, yeah. So how about when he gets here, how about he and I try to walk us back towards the road? If we can, that'd be great. If not, no big deal.
Just to get us in the shorter grass.
Yeah.
I'm not sure about the field.
Another balloon over there.
Yeah, that's Jeff.
They'll keep coming all the way around to where it is again.
That was definitely the most nervous I got throughout this whole day, was when I missed that first spot.
Sure. It's a little breezy, but we were going to see if we could walk it back to the short grass, but I'm not sure if we'll be able to. This stuff isn't too bad.
Where do you want to go? There? How come that fire went? I've turned the pilot off already.
Yeah, it just usually, even just some residual flame. It's good to know it's hard to get the pilot to go out, right?
All right, ready?